Hello. Before we start today's episode, if you would like a condensed version of what I'm talking about in this podcast, go ahead and subscribe to The Perfectionist Guide. You can read the entire thing in 3 minutes or less. To access this, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/newsletter. Are you a bit of a perfectionist, type A, hyper performer? Then you know that having the audacity to see an ideal and bring it into reality while breaking generational habits of hustle can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. If you are ready to burn bright instead of burning out, to lead without losing yourself, and to enjoy the life you have worked so hard to create, then keep listening. I'm your host, America's leader on rewiring perfectionism, CLG, and this is Perfectionism Rewired, the podcast. Welcome to Perfectionism Rewired, part 2 of the client interview with Margot. If you haven't listened to episode 95, stop what you are doing right now and listen to it. It discusses everything that goes through your head when you are thinking about, maybe I should look into having CLG as my coach, or what is it like to work with CLG in a professional capacity. For Margot and I have been coaching together for almost 18 months total. And what you didn't get to hear about in last week's episode, and you will today, is all of the amazing external results that Margot has created for herself in her life. When she came to me, she was not currently employed. She is now rapidly rising up the corporate ranks in a new career in human resources. And she is also exploring what it is like to serve and help other people in a new way. Margot has improved all of her relationships with people that are close to her. She details how coaching has helped her with her friendships and how she shows up. Margot also is now engaged to her partner and baby daddy and planning her wedding. I purposefully didn't go into all of the material changes that Margot has experienced throughout our journey together, because all of those have been a bonus. What we do together it's an inside out approach. And so we're never striving for I want to get this job, or I want all my friends to just think I'm the best. We don't do any of that bullshit, because if you do that bullshit, you're not actually solving the drive and what's underneath there. By learning to accept yourself, advocate for yourself, and have compassion for yourself, anything and everything is possible, which Margot has experienced in her life and will continue to experience in her life as she goes on this journey. Something I wanted to share with you before part 2 is I want to shine a light on my ADHD, because it makes podcast episodes where I have a guest and I am interviewing a client incredibly difficult for me to do. Forget all the mind coach bullshit. Well, you're saying that it's difficult, so that makes it difficult for you. No. Me sitting or standing, doing a task that is tedious and feels boring to my brain, like editing, it feels 1,000 times longer. And I have lots of tips and tricks in terms of what I can do to make it a more ADHD friendly experience. And unfortunately, with editing guest podcast episode, I need to be wired into internet. So can't change my environment to do that. I've tried. Doesn't even work if I take my hotspot somewhere. Internet strength isn't strong enough. And I can't listen to music or because I need to listen to the episode. And for those of you that are like, CLG, why don't you farm it out and have someone else do that? I've tried several times with several different producers, but they don't understand the essence of the show. So until future CLG has a full-time staff podcast producer, I am a predator, which means I am a producer and the editor and the host. My Midas touch goes on the client interviews. I love the end result. That's the thing. But I haven't ever really gotten to the point of releasing one yet, because when my brain looks at like, there's 2 hours of recording to go through, I'm like, that's 200 hours. And I'm also a bit of a time ninja. So I know that when my brain says we could be making 5 new podcast episodes in the time it's taking to edit this one, it's totally telling me the truth. However, I choose not to entertain that thought and entertain other ones. I wanted to share this with all of you because this is an accomplishment for myself that I normally would not celebrate publicly. A vintage CLG would just be like, shut up. That's just something that a normal person can do. So like, why the fuck are you congratulating yourself about it? Like, that's just really bad. Think about how many client interviews you've done that are still on the cutting room floor, like have yet to be released. And to that, I say, fuck you to CLG's old thinking. I shared this win and this celebration in my private mastermind. And then I realized today, you know what? I'm going to be loud and proud. And I also want to show you that I walk it like I talk it. My goal every day is to be more of what I want to see in the world. And I want to see more of us celebrating ourselves for what is a BFD to us. We have enough hate. We have enough discounting and diminishing and shrinking and oppression and doubt and danger and like all of these forces that are just like, just like go back into your shell, be small, don't be proud, be scared of your shadow. And I am like, goodbye. Let's not do that. Next, please. Let's, remix, hard pass, celebrate yourself and whatever it is that you are doing, because there is no such thing as a small celebration. The more that you can celebrate, even if it's, I got out of bed, like literally, there is no such thing as a small celebration. And the more that you acknowledge yourself and you empower yourself by what you are already doing, and you create that positive, intentional feedback loop with yourself, you're going to be more prolific. You're going to be more powerful. You are going to be more satisfying, successful, and you are going to be making an enormous impact in the world just by you sharing the story. Like, I know for me, giving you this windy thing about my ADHD and what makes these 2 episodes that much more special for me, it is going to help at least 10 people who are listening to this podcast who either have ADHD, are neurodiverse, or struggle with something and give themselves a lot of shit about it because they look around and they feel like, oh, it seems like it's so easy for her. And that I just want to be like, no, it's not that easy. And when it is a little bit more difficult, that is when you need to give yourself a round of applause and pat yourself up on the back and give yourself a parade post, as I did inside my mastermind. Let's now go celebrate my wonderful private one-on-one coaching client, Margot.
You mentioned instinctively knowing. And one thing that we've introduced into the coaching is human design. How has that been for you?
I love it. You've introduced it to me. It's given me a framework for understanding others and understanding myself. Like, I would feel so much pressure to do things, and understanding how to work with some of my energies versus against some of my energies. Coaching with my human design, I feel like takes it a lot deeper and is able to make it a lot more personal because it's tailored to who I am at my core. Recognizing who I am in my design has helped me own who I am. Like, oh, yep, that's part of my design. I used to have this belief that I was a really poor communicator because sometimes I feel things in like my sacral and I can't really always say it with words of why I feel that way. So I'd be like, it's kind of like, ooh, like that. And someone would say to me, Margot, I don't know because you've literally not said anything. You've just made noises. And I was like, oh, well, I must be a poor communicator. And now realizing, oh, it's because I was trying to communicate a feeling. It was something I knew in me, but I'm not a bad communicator. I was trying to communicate my authority, which isn't necessarily something that I can always put into words or definitions. I carried that belief for a long time that I was a bad communicator because of what one person said to me one time. And now I'm like, oh, it's just because I was trying to communicate something that was intangible. They couldn't understand my frequency message because they were probably different. And I don't need to take that on. I can let that go. And letting that go has been really, really helpful for me. And I know when I am communicating my message that if it's not landing, it's possible we're just off slightly in our frequencies. So it's given me a lot of understanding.
Yeah. And that you're clear. What you communicate is clear. It's not confusing. Like if it's okay. If someone has a question, they will ask you. I think women especially, it's like we have to end it with a question to them instead of being definitive in what we're saying. It's safer almost to be like, let me know if you have any questions, right?
Oh, yes.
Right. Or are you sure?
Yeah, well, here for you if you need anything. Always the let me know if you have questions. And now I can be more concise and say it and just trust if they have questions, they're going to let me know. And I don't need to be as accommodating, pleasing, or adding, does that make sense to the end of every one of my sentences? I feel this way because of this. Does that make sense? Trusting now that if it's not making sense to them, they're going to ask. They're going to seek clarification. And if they don't, they understand.
Because you trust yourself more. Going back to self-compassion and telling yourself things that you don't believe. If you don't trust yourself, everything you tell yourself is a lie in some ways.
Yes.
We need that outside assurance. We need those other things because our own opinion doesn't hold as much weight, which totally makes sense.
We've been taught not to trust ourselves and also to outsource our opinions and feelings. You can't trust yourself to come up with your own feelings. You need to crowdsource it. Make sure everybody's on board.
Yeah. And your feelings are entirely dependent on everything outside of you. How your partner's feeling, how things are at your job, what the weather is outside. Like you have no control or sovereignty over yourself and how you feel.
Yes. I used to outsource so many of my opinions and feelings. If somebody wasn't happy, I was unhappy. And I was like, they're upset and I have to fix it. I've been working so hard on giving everybody their own feelings. Like I'm responsible for my feelings and I'm going to give you the gift of having your feelings and not letting their feelings affect me, but then also taking responsibility for my thoughts. If I didn't have a good time at the party, that's not my friend's fault for not talking to me as much. I'm responsible for how I feel. And that is both because I'm like, I hate that. I hate that I'm responsible because it just feels like a lot of work. But ultimately, I am so happy that I'm responsible because I don't want to be dependent upon other people for my own happiness. It's so much better that I am in control. I am in control of how I feel. And outsourcing that gives up so much power, which I don't want. I want the power of that in myself.
Oh my gosh. As your coach, it makes me so proud to hear you say that. I know I had said, yeah, but Margot, isn't this great? If we are the problem, that means that we get to be the solution. And I remember it was like, but if I'm the problem, then
then I'm the problem.
Yeah.
I just heard I'm the problem.
Yeah. Or how could you tell me that I'm the problem here? When we take ownership for our part, how wonderful it is that it's on us, because that means that we get to change it. While if it is our boss's fault or our partner's fault or our kid's fault, if we blame everyone outside of us, then we're stuck. Just like, okay, I'll just be miserable for the rest of my life. Cool.
I think sometimes we convince ourselves it's easier if it's somebody else's fault. Like, it's not my fault. It's their fault. They just need to do this. It's sometimes harder, air quote, to take that responsibility because it's being really honest with yourself. It's hard to be honest. And it's hard sometimes to recognize that, oh yeah, this is me. I'm doing this. I'm the one in these relationships and in these patterns. And if I want something different than these patterns and these relationships, then I need to create that for myself. Taking responsibility is a huge process through coaching. That's what really makes all the difference is once you actually take responsibility for your feelings, that's where you make progress. Because if you don't, then you're not going to get anywhere. If it's never something you can do, then why are you here? Like nothing's going to change if you don't help yourself. Like you do need to help yourself, but it's okay to need help and it's okay to not know how to get there. And it's okay to know that there's better things for you out there, even if other people don't believe that for you. And I love working with you that even though I don't always believe things fully, like you carry the beliefs for me. Like I'll believe this for you until we get you there. Like I believe that you're valuable and deserve to take up space until we get you, Margot, to the space where you also believe you're valuable and deserve to take up space. You carry that belief for me so I can borrow against that. And I can spend the time coaching with you to kind of recharge to get where I need to go. And that was a real belief that I found in my old things I wanted to believe. And I was like, I am valuable and I deserve to take up space. So that was a real belief that I had to work on.
And you got there.
I did get there. And now I do feel that I am valuable. I have value and it's not dependent on what I do. I'm not valuable because I did the dishes and I cleaned the room and I did these things. I am valuable. Period. Complete sentence.
Full stop. Full stop. Yes. It's like taking the lens of responsibility, but not through blame or shame. I think about it as like response ability, like your ability to respond to what is happening in your life and being able to choose your response versus just reacting to everything that's happening. I thought responsibility was blaming myself or shaming myself or berating myself. And so that's why it's so much easier to be like, oh, no, it's their fault. It's not mine. It's that. Because if it was me, then that meant I was just going to whip myself internally. Like,
yeah.
Or it would be too much responsibility. If it's my party, then I'm responsible for everyone having a good time. And if they don't, it's my fault. No one else was putting this on me. I was doing it, but it was like two extremes. It's like you're driving a car, and I was taught how to drive a car in a stick shift. And it's like you're either in first gear or fifth gear. And it's like learning that there's actually gears 2, 3, and 4. You can go in between and it's okay. My foot's either all the way down on the accelerator or it's like completely off. And it's like you have more than 2 speeds. It can actually be a better pace, right? Than like breakneck. You know what I mean? When you stop like that and you're like, oh my God, I want to vomit. But like, going sort of like in between with responsibility of like, oh, okay, yeah, I can actually own that this was my part, or this is how I totally created this miserable situation for myself. Oh, okay. That means that next time I don't have to.
I love your reframing of responsibility because it is responsibility. It's like, who's responsible for this? Like, who's at fault for this?
Who stole the cookies from the cookie jar?
Yeah, or this is responsibility, like obligations. And it's more like, no, we really are just responding to things and changing it and being like, oh, okay, yeah, I could do things differently and changing our actions and our energy to create a different result. But it's not from a place of either fault or obligation.
Yes, or pressure. Margot, I realize we haven't even talked about all of your amazing results that you've created. I know. I talk about you on my Instagram. I know there was at least one celebrating your engagement, but Margot, as she mentioned, when we started working together, she was not currently working and now has pivoted in terms of her career and is now a human resource professional and is climbing up the ranks in corporate. You're also engaged now.
I am.
You're coming to us from where are you right now, Margot?
I am coming to you. I'm on vacation in Hawaii. I'm on vacation right now.
So idyllic. Is there something that sticks out the most to you as far as like, oh man, I can't believe I created this, or like, I never thought that this would be possible for me?
Oh gosh, I have so many. I feel like I didn't think it would be possible to live a life without beating myself up for perceived mistakes. I didn't think I could have a life where I didn't feel pressure all the time to do stuff. Like you had to do all the things on all your to-do list and chalk everything full. I never felt like I would be able to get a place where I could rest and take time off. I didn't know that I could own like who I am in my voice so much that I can say, this is who I am. This is where I'm coming from. I didn't know that that was something I could do. I didn't know that I could live with ease and just really fully have a life of joy and happiness that wasn't so hard. I didn't intentionally make it hard, but I was.
And didn't see that there could be another way. Right?
No, this was how I had to do it. This is what you need to do because that's what I thought.
And you should be doing it that way. And if you're not, then there's something majorly wrong with you.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we continue to uncover things, I continue to make more progress and more leaps. And I get clearer and clearer on who I am and where I'm going. When we started coaching, I just felt there's things inside me, there's things I'm supposed to be doing, but I just don't know what they are. I don't know what they are, but I feel them. I feel them out there. I just can't see them. And I feel like the longer I go on this journey, the closer I get to that and the clearer it becomes of where I'm going and what I'm doing.
And do you feel better?
I do feel better. I feel so much better. I feel so much better in my daily life. I am happier. I'm able to be silly. I'm not as uncomfortable in interactions with people. I used to have so many feelings that like, oh my God, what are they going to think about me? That then I would inadvertently be weird, which would then make things weird. And now I'm just like, this is who I am. Hello, I'm going to show up this way and do a little dance and great. I feel much happier in life in general and much just more comfortable, more decisive. Life is just a lot better. And sometimes old things creep up, but I recognize them now quickly and I'm able to adjust.
What do you find is the difference between talking to a friend about a situation and then talking about it in coaching?
I feel like your friends provide you a different type of support than coaching does. I come to you with things I want to work on and improve on and deep dive in and be like, I want to understand, I want to do better. And I go to my friends when I just want, for lack of a better term, sympathy. Because I feel like my friend's job is to be my friend. And you as my coach are there to help me move forward in my life. And yes, sometimes your friends can help you move forward, but not in the same way. Like your friends, they have their own conditioning and they might not always tell you what you need to hear. I feel like coaching, you tell me the right mix of being supportive, but also the message I need to hear. And real talk. And it's also safe in that I can say things that I feel like I can't always say to my friends. I can't always tell them my real thoughts on things because I'm stuck in people pleasing. And oh my God, what will my friends think of me? I can bring you real things and you can help me. The friendship serves almost like a different role in my life. I so much don't want to go to my friends with these things anymore because I feel like I used to go to my friends and I would complain. I would need their support. Like, oh, I just need you to agree with me that the world sucks and you need to see it my way and validate me. But I don't need that from them anymore because I bring my things to you and we work through it. And I don't need my friends to validate my feelings anymore because I can validate my own feelings. And instead I want to go to my friends and have a good time and shoot the shit for, hang out.
You can be upset with me.
Yeah.
And yeah. Where a friend, it's like, I love being Margot's friend, so I'm not going to tell her this.
Yeah.
Where knowing that everything I say is like for your good. It's my job to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like,
it's your job to take me into uncomfortable land, to help me navigate to that. And also your job is to help me connect with me at my core and to remove some of that conditioning. Some of the people in my life are not necessarily at that stage. They're not at that spot. And also they don't always understand, you talk about neuroplasticity and how the brain works and how thoughts are and human design energies. It's like you're coming from this place of science and be like, oh yeah, this is how this is. Informing, but also directing and helping, which are not necessarily where my friends are.
It's unbiased too. Oh, I actually have someone who like doesn't judge me, who really only wants what's best for me. Like, whoa. And it's not to say that your friends don't, but it's like, there's just natural biases that are there because they're showing up as their human self.
Yeah, exactly. It is a little bit biased. And you want that in my friends. I want my friends to be biased.
Oh, yeah.
I'm always on my side. But sometimes
I want them to agree with me no matter what.
Absolutely.
Right? I am
Even
always
if I'm wrong, I'm
right. Yeah.
But that doesn't help you grow. That doesn't help you get to the next level. If you're always right, then how can you ever take responsibility? How can you level up if someone's not going to be like, hey, maybe let's reframe this. Let's think of this. It's like an outside perspective to your life. And also separating my feelings from my friends, because I love my friends and I respect them, but they are separate from me. And sometimes what is good for them is not good for me. So I can have some friends who are very strong and they'll tell me like, this is what you need to be doing. And realizing like, oh, that's really great for them, but that's not quite right for me. And that's okay. That's, I say, was big differences in coaching versus just talking to your friends.
I'm so excited about where you are going. I feel like we've had so many iterations of Margot together as we continue to like let the smear campaign and all those things that we didn't even realize were stuck onto us as we refine all the layers.
Exactly. We peel back all of things.
Yes. And shining new, beautiful skin and growth. You have recently decided to share your journey with minimalism.
Yes. I've always said I'm an aspiring minimalism with hoarding tendencies. Now, throughout the process, I've understand more what that was. And I'm moving to simplicity. Like when we did a human design thing and you're like, simplicity is your thing. I'm like, oh, that's what I've been called for. It's funny, as you've done a lot of my human design, this is already what we've been talking about. Yes, I'm actively trying to simplify things in my physical space, but there's also a lot of thoughts that come with that as I'm going through it. I have a lot of things that I've accumulated because I would Marie Kondo every other year, go through the process and you declutter and you move things on, but then I would just bring more stuff in. You just have to repeat. And I now am at a place mentally where I'm really ready to start shedding. I've done a lot of the work to mentally get rid of thoughts that don't serve me. And now I'm really ready to let go, make my space and my environment reflects that. And so I'm moving towards simplicity, clearing things out, letting things go, and sharing that with everybody, sharing real unbiased pictures of my space and what it's like. Because I think we see lots of pretty pictures of when it's all done, but I really want to show what it's really like, letting people know it's okay. And just talking about the real feelings and thoughts that come up for me through this, like such feelings, getting rid of expired vitamins. And I'm really excited to keep moving forward through continued coaching, through this process of who I feel like I'm supposed to be in my life and what I can offer everybody.
I am a minimalist. I am also a human design 3-5. I want to see the grit. I'm all about a process. I want to see the before and the in between part, because that actually makes me more fascinated in the end result. Like if I know that someone is a multimillionaire and they filed for bankruptcy 10 years before, I'm more apt to listen to them because I'm like, oh, you've been through it. You've had to overcome a lot more than someone who is like, my parents paid for things and now I'm part of the family business and I'm a multimillionaire. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying me, my personality, my human design as a 3-5, I love that. And I know that so many other people will too, because as you've learned, it's not about the stuff. It's not just about the actions that we're taking. It's about what those represent. What's the meaning that we give it? Because if not, it's the same cycle. You clear the space and it just fills with other things.
Yeah, exactly. When different things come up in your life, it re-triggers certain things. So you can do the work in one area and then you move to a new phase in your life and then different things come up and you fall into old patterns. And really, it truly is, what does this stuff mean to me? Why am I holding on to it? What is the meaning I'm attached to it? And why? How is it serving me in that way? And do I want to continue to serve me in that way? What I really hope is it moves to a place of sustainability. It's not just like throw out your stuff. It's like really have something that you can continue. It's not a quick fix. It's not like just have somebody come in, garbage bag, and
go to the container store and buy all these plastic bins. It's not because no, it's
exactly.
for sure. It's about things that like you can actually use and that you love. And I think this is so beautiful for you, being able to have outside of you to really like clear that energy and to like move it in a tangible way. We're all human beings last time I checked, and our environments do influence us. We might be able to say, oh, I can get anything done. It doesn't matter if there's piles of garbage around me. But like the truth is that like you, a human, you do better. There's just these energy leaps we don't even see because we're just so used to it. We're not used to like having space. We're not used to actually love everything in my environment. I feel at peace like with
like
it.
How it makes you feel.
Yeah. How it makes you feel, what fits you and like your lifestyle, which right now we're talking about physical items, but that's true for everything. You are a human. There is no one size fits all.
Exactly. There's so much out there, but it's like finding the right message that works for you. And because there is no one size fits all. It's like what's working for you, what works for me. How do you take what works and
custom tailor it? Made to measure for your life of pleasure. What works best for Margot? But you can still share on that journey, which
absolutely
will be great for all of us to go and see Margot on her minimalism journey. Thank you so much for joining us on your Hawaiian vacation. I asked her, I was like, are you sure that you want to do this? She said, I said, yes, no, ask your sacral. She said, yes. Thank you so much.
Of course. I just hope that everybody who is on the fence and feeling like there's got to be a better way, but scared, it's okay to try new things. And you don't have to feel that way. Go for it. Stop overthinking it. Stop thinking, well, maybe this. It really can and will change your life. You have to put in your own internal work, but that's what makes all the difference. And don't live your life paralyzed by fear. Like your life is out there and you just need to take it and you take ownership of it and make it happen, because you're listening to this because you just know that there's more for you. You know, whether or not you can see the finish line or whether or not other people are telling you different things, but you know internally what's right for you. Trust that and not let other messages convince you otherwise. Stop talking yourself out of the things you want to do and go for it.
Beautiful. Well, Margot, I'm sure we will have you back on the podcast and then we will reflect on who is that, Margot, as you continue your journey together.
If you noticed in this episode, I read you like a menu, then definitely go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com. Check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator. I've done the hard work and taken out the guesswork to give you frameworks backed by neuroscience, proven to work even for the most type A, high-strung, stubborn, control freak perfectionists. In the first 30 days, you'll possess a quiet confidence so secure your self-compassion will go up at least 250%. So if you want to save yourself years of trial and error, go to CourtneyLoveGavin.com/accelerator today. Or just click the link in the show notes to check out the Perfectionism Rewired Accelerator.